So look for the aerial bizarre photo. Imagine this appearing in your inbox. Now, we weren't donating anything to the trailer salesman or to that couple in the apartment, but we changed their lives, so they say. Big or small, deciding you're going to help is like throwing a rock into a pool. There's a ripple effect. We'll never know how far that ripple spreads, but know that it does. Eyes on Africa was started because of someone else's ripple. And that person's ripple who started Eyes on Africa by someone else's and someone else's all across the whole world. The world isn't a hopeless place. There's ripples all over it. And one has just collided into you today. I call it Ubuntu. Now there's really no good way to describe this African word without sounding like a 70s hipster, but it really is the perfect way to describe the world. Ubuntu is a word describing the interconnectedness of the world. I am me because you are you. I am this person whose thoughts and actions are all affected by all of you here. I've never met you, but I've met someone who met you, who met someone who met someone who met someone who changed who you are. And that started a cascade of events that changed who I am right now. It goes to somebody in France and somebody to Australia, everywhere across the world, all changing who I am. We can't escape it. We're a part of this world, and so the world changes us. Change, that's what we keep coming back to. And what better way than to save a life? We sure are reluctant to look at things at face value nowadays. I know that we have saved lives. If we only saved one, isn't it worth it? How many people can say they've saved a life? It's not bragging. A lot of you have probably done it. Have you ever donated to a cause or volunteered with some organization? There are so many ways to do so, but don't be scared about calling it what it is. You are saving a life, and that's an incredible thing. So the way I see it, you have two choices right now. You can leave GYLC and go back to your life the way it was. Tell people what a great time you had and wait on the packet. Or you can write your own. Scratch out what doesn't work along the way and change the world. Nobody's going to force you either way. But if you can save a life and you don't, what are you doing? Are you preparing yourself to be launched by the wave? Or are you building a dam so that no matter how hard Ubuntu tries, you're never going off course? You're all here because you're successful, bright people. But there's a pitfall with that. See, successful, bright people become successful, bright adults and then die. That's the end game for all of us. I hate to break it to you, but as successful, bright people, we have a tendency to set goals and accomplish them. It's our best quality and our worst enemy. What's wrong with setting goals and accomplishing them is that we often lean into the storm to keep the waves from knocking us off the path. The path, there is no path. There's nothing you're supposed to do except change. We're all obligated to change. But we don't change anything except where we are on the graph of our own life if we refuse to take chances. I want my life to be a scatter plot if it's got to be a graph. What's great about a scatter plot is that there's a whole lot going on with it. It's one of the few things that can be considered art, and there's always a best fit curve which gives us direction. It's like traveling down a road less traveled with a chainsaw. We don't stay on that path, but wind our way through the whole forest, affecting more of that thing than anyone who has traversed it before. What's this have to do with leadership? Everything. As successful, bright people, you are the ones creating the paths. We're not the ones supposed to follow the path, even if it is the one less traveled. We're the ones who have to blaze a new trail so that others can follow it. It's a bigger job than blushing and saying thank you when someone says you're a leader. It means you throw the map away and change the world. It means you hold on to that rebellious spirit and save a life. Don't wander aimlessly through your life, calling it leadership because you're not setting goals, but set your own goals. Don't just accept the ones being set for you. You want to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's great, but why? I want you to ask yourself why anytime you do anything. So why did I start Eyes on Africa? Because even if it were to self-destruct today, I know that I've made a difference. My aunt always says that everyone's goal in life is to matter. Well, I've got a question for you. Have you mattered? Are you mattering? Will you matter? We've got to matter now so that we can move forward. So much of the mattering that goes on in this world is clamoring for us to get back to something before something went wrong. If we start early, when we're young, our mattering gives direction, change. It's leadership, it's mattering, it's easy, and it's your obligation. I hope that you guys do change the world. And when you do, I hope that I can be one of those connections that helped you do it along the way. Use the people around you as a kickstart to your change, but don't be so consumed with what you're doing that you're not the who you know to the person next to you. So what's the point? The point is that I want you to realize how capable you are to change the world now. But I don't want you to just realize it. I want you to show everyone that being young is no longer a rite of passage into adulthood, but merely the first couple dots on our scatter plot. Together, we can change the world, and it's going to start today. Some of the doors we knock on are going to swing open, but it's the ones we've got to tear down that are really going to show us who we are. Are you ready to find out if you can be the change that we all know needs to happen? We can do it. We are the future of this world. And from where I'm standing, it looks like we're about to throw a boulder the size of the Grand Canyon into that pool. Let your ripple change the world. People always talk about times in life that change it. I'm up here saying that 2 years ago, my experience with the International Scholar Laureate program was one of those for me. I never knew that I was going to start this foundation, and I honestly never knew that I'd be up here speaking, for sure. But I don't want you to look at that example and go, oh gosh, I can't wait for one of those experiences to happen to me. Because if you do that, then you're going to be like 99% of the world, and it never will. This can be one of those experiences. These next 11 days can change your life forever. You know, there were people who came on the exact same trip that I did that didn't do anything but write it on their resumes and keep on trucking. You have to take an experience, internalize it, and figure out how each of life's moments speaks to you. Our goal should be for every moment of life to be life-changing. GYLC should be that start. You do not have to wait to matter. You can do something tomorrow. You have to do something tomorrow. Because you have this opportunity which no one else is having. Don't take it for granted. Don't not appreciate how lucky you are. No matter what happens, you have more than the majority of these people on this planet. And if you choose not to make a difference, you're wrong. Being a leader is about who you are, not what you do. You can be a leader in the business world, a leader as a doctor, a leader as a student, a leader as a kid. Okay, now I want to do a quick exercise. I want everyone to take just like 10 seconds and think about what a leader looks like. You can close your eyes if you want. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Just take a couple seconds, think about what a leader looks like to you. All right, now I'm going to give you my answer. I bet you can guess. But I know what a leader looks like to me. It looks like all of you. Thanks so much for having me.